If you saw my earlier review, Bumblebee, welcome back. This is the second movie I saw for my personal double feature night of movie releases, and that's saying something because it could have been a triple release, but I didn't really feel like seeing Mary Poppins. Uh, I'm just not, so don't even ask. Don't worry. It just doesn't look appealing to me to go see it. But we went to go see Aquaman, which might be, pardon the phrasing, but it's pretty much sink or swim time for DC because Shazam feels more like a Marvel movie, like especially Ant-Man. It's more smaller scale, smaller threats, not global threats like now Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. So that's gonna be something to see when Captain Marvel comes out, but not Captain Shazam comes out because Captain Marvel is Marvel and Shazam is now DC. But yeah, so Aquaman was really enjoyable to say the least. I did not have high hopes for this movie. I was hoping at least it would be enjoyable somewhat, even if it's just corny or just stupid, Michael Bay explosion fighting all that stuff, which I guess you could kind of say, but it definitely doesn't feel like that. It feels more um, Zack Snydery, but also even feels very Robert Rodriguez as far as I mean, there's a lot of CG in this movie. Oh, not CG, green screen, which doesn't look half bad. It's actually works pretty well. There is a lot of CG though too. Pretty much every scene underwater where they're fighting is pretty much all CG, I believe. A couple times it'd be live action. People when they stop or talk or pose, which there are a lot of poses, which are all pretty epic. So that's cool. Uh, it was very. I think the biggest thing about this movie was if it was going to be good. If it, if it was gonna be good, really. Just because the director's coming from Fast and the Furious franchise and it's underwater, which is quite a bit different. uh, but it worked. It somehow worked, and visually it is amazing. I do think he was probably the best choice for this movie, for hopefully another movie, because man, like the camera movements are really cool. He does this like 360 camera movement, which I mean you kind of get that from like when the cars activate or move. It's showing all the mechanical pieces of it. Uh, for the Fast and Furious movies, so it's really it's visually appeasing, pleasing. Man, I just can't talk today. Probably because I'm excited. That's what I'm saying a lot because trying to get my thoughts. But yeah, man, it's worth your money. If anything, like I said, it is definitely on par, if not as far as action wise. It's heavily more action than uh, Bumblebee. It's not as deep as far as the story as Bumblebee, but I mean, what else could you expect from a half Atlantean, half human trying to regain his throne from his younger brother, half brother, uh, with this, you know, mystical trident? So I don't know what else you can say to that, but I do gotta say it was really cool. I didn't see too much promotional stuff going to Aquaman. I seen the trailers and stuff, and I knew seeing Black Manta. That's probably the coolest part of the whole movie. I mean, just that suit. I hope it's an actual suit. If not, it's really great CG. I mean, yeah, they do use CG during some of the fight scenes and stuff, but I hope they actually made that suit because there's something about it. These Atlanteans have this armor to go on land that has water in it so they could breathe because only like the higher, more elite ones could actually breathe on land. So the suit it has this like semi-transparency, look to it, but it's also opaque enough so you don't see through it all the way. But it has like a top layer, I guess kind of like iPhones, or like a gaming case. It's slightly opaque, slightly, you can kind of see through it, but then you can't. So, but when he changes it to, seeing that black armor, it's really it has that feel, but it's still, I don't know, like there's something about it. It just looks amazing, and I just liked it. I mean, personal opinion, but man, there's a lot of stuff. I do like this form of Aquaman because he is, he's more or less, an outcast starting off, and he's learning about his people. Well, I mean, he knows about his people, but there's flashbacks and everything from a guy training him, making him learn about his Atlantean, heritage, which is, I mean, those scenes are pretty great, especially the way that they transition into him and transition out. It's just, like I said, man, like this movie it was a surprise. It might be the surprise of the year as far as movies go, as far as being good, or even greater or higher hopes than initially when I went to go see it. And like I said, I don't know if I said it already, but it's worth your money. It's worth your money to see it. I saw it in IMAX because the Dolby Cinema was showing Bumblebee, which is still pretty cool. Which I don't think I said what format I saw Bumblebee in, but yeah, saw Bumblebee in Dolby Cinema, and then right after I saw Aquaman in IMAX, which I think IMAX worked really well because it's just huge. As far as color wise, I think IMAX has a little bit more bolder colors compared to Dolby Cinema projection. Granted, of course, the Dolby Cinema has a better contrast, so it's give or take. Sound wise, definitely Dolby Cinema if you're gonna, if you want better sound. IMAX is still really great though. But yeah, man, seeing this at IMAX is definitely you get more. It definitely emphasizes the epicness of a lot of these battles, a lot of these fights, a lot of the size difference that you get from the creatures and animals and just the ships and everything. Like it's pretty epic. As far as the costumes were amazing. I before this movie, I know there's promotional art out there. There's even posters and stuff of Jason Momoa, Aquaman, who in the classic color scheme but modern design of Aquaman, which is the yellow top, the green gloves, and then the green pants, I believe. Yeah, and he pulls it off. When I saw him wearing it, I'm like, okay, this is like Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. This is like Henry Cavill, Superman. Uh, it's just perfect. This is Tony Stark. This is Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. This is uh, man, like mostly Marvel castings. They just nailed it. Like it doesn't look corny. It doesn't look cheap. It doesn't look. It looks actual functional. It looks amazing to say. The color, tone, and just how they did it just looks great. It doesn't look, you know, cheap or corny or cheesy at all. So I was surprised about that, and I was happy that I didn't see what he looked like in it until the actual movie. So that was fun. That was cool. The crowd and audience were very into the movie. There's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of, you know, this Aquaman. He just goes with the flow, kind of little duty Brody, kind of guy. But he's also very blunt, literally, about how he takes care of things. So it's really nice to see. But also he is smart in a way. So you almost feel like you wish this movie was, man, like honestly, DC, I gotta say, you guys kind of fucked up with the Justice League setup. If you just would have did these origin stories first, put aside 3 years, 2 movies each year. You got 6 members right there, and you could have had something amazing. Even if you just would have drawn in, Green Lantern in the Justice League movie, he could have been the only one with the origin story. But no, you did Cyborg, you did Flash, you did man. I mean, you even did you kind of did Aquaman too. It's just like after seeing this movie, it's pretty sad. And if they do another Justice League movie, I kind of wish this guy who directed Aquaman does it. I mean, I do like Zack Snyder. He's visually, I mean, his visuals are amazing. The way he does, slow mo, the way he focuses, just the like I said, art wise, visually, he's just top. But he does focus a little too much, strictly trying to stay true to the story. Plus, I'm sure Warner Brothers had a lot of influence, the studio cuts and stuff like that, which just hampered everything. And man, like Warner Brothers, they gotta step it up. Because Aquaman was fun, it was amazing, it was very enjoyable. The fight scenes were chaotic, but you could follow it along enough. There's a couple nitpicky things about it that were, could have probably have been executed better or just given more explanation. But as far as the origin story for Aquaman, quote unquote, origin story for Aquaman, uh, it's it's really good. It's not, if anything, it's pretty on par with Wonder Woman, just on a grander stage, which Wonder Woman was already on a pretty grand stage with World War One. But yeah, like it was good, worth your money, worth your dollar. Luckily for me, I have the AMC Stubs pass, so I don't pay as much because man, I would be pretty broke for Christmas. Which see some boxes in the background for all the stuff I've been buying. But yeah, definitely check it out if you're interested at all or curious just to see how good or bad this movie is. It is worth your dollar just to see it, especially in the theater because, like I said, it is pretty grand. Some of the scenes, the sceneries, I would recommend IMAX actually if you don't mind spending a little the extra money. But man, it's nice to see clear images. Nice to not see shaky cam. It's nice to not have these dark guys, but guys that are acting how strong they are, how powerful they are. Guys that yeah, he's bulletproof. He's nearly stab proof. He's pretty indestructible, and he knows it, and he has fun with it, and it's just it's nice to see something different. Uh, it's pretty much it's almost the Guardians of the Galaxy for the DC universe. They did something different. They gave someone a chance. They made it its own unique thing, and then it just rehash, Man of Steel or you know Superman vs Batman or Wonder Woman or stuff like that. They took a little bit of a risk and a little bit of a gamble with this director and just the visual style and everything, and even the writing. I mean, man, like I said, the costumes and stuff are amazing. It's literally bringing the comics to life and with a little bit of modern, flair to it, and it's all it's all good. Uh, like I said, can't recommend it enough. It might have been the better movie compared to Bumblebee, so it is what it is, and that's gonna take care of for the as far as movie reviews for the rest of the month for December and this year. I will probably throw up a top movie list for me and also some of the movies that are a little bit more disappointing. But that probably won't be until the end of the year, if not the first week of January. And January so far, I do have two movies I am looking forward to, which one of them being The Upside, which just saw a trailer for watching Aquaman, and it looks interesting enough for me with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. He even has Nicole Kidman, which she seems to be going around because she was in Aquaman. She was the mother of Aquaman. So it looks like she's picking up some interesting gigs lately. But also, in January, we got a big one. Glass, which looks pretty awesome. So until next time, guys. See you next year.